Hi everyone, Frenzo here from Mod Factory. Here's a quick tutorial lang on how to properly order your samples to our website. All right, let's go. So here we are on the Mod product page where you can order your sample. No, so for example, dito sa Pro Club Inspired, first you have to choose your size and then your color. And then for your customization, we essentially need two different files mainly. No? So the first one is the design file or the file that is to be placed on the garment. And the second file is the mock-up or the picture of what the product, what the design should look like once it is placed on the garment. So meron lang tayong best practices no, on the type of file and the specifications of the file to be uploaded on the website para magawa ng maayos yung sample order. All right. So first, let's start with the design file. So we can actually look at the best practices here sa website namin, modfactory.co, resources, getting started. And then dito tayo sa best practices for your design. Okay, so first requirement is the design file must be exactly 300 dpi. So yung dpi, it's dots per inch. It ensures na the file is of the high of a high resolution para pag pinrint to, hindi siya grainy, hindi siya malabo. Next, the uploaded file must be of actual size. So if yung size na gusto nyo is 8 inches by 10 inches, yung file din has to be 8 inches by 10 inches. Okay. Next, so maximum print positions for each garment is 4. So this means at the very max, you can have have a design printed on the front, at the back, so yung neck label, and then one on either sleeve. So yun lang yung max print positions natin na allowed. Something to consider then is the colors on the screen may appear differently from the actual print output. This is because printers print in CMYK while our screens are normally in RGB colors. So this difference possible to mag-cause na difference in color na nakita mo sa screen versus yung actual print output. All right. So design size, another thing to note lang is the design size and position will remain the same regardless of the size of the garment. So for example, if yung design was 8 inches by 10 inches, it'll still be 8 inches by 10 inches regardless of if the garment is a extra small or a 5XL. Okay. Another thing is ensure that the design files uploaded won't have any background image or unnecessary shadows. Balik kapag may background image kasi to, masasama siya sa print. So for example, this image here, yung may background na para blurry, masasama yan sa print. No? So, or if it's white, if it's black, masasama siya sa print. So another thing is do not include artwork notes, multiple copies of the artwork, etc. So it has to be clear kung ano yung mga design files na gagamitin. Next is artwork should have sharp edges. So for optimal print quality, kailangan natin iset yung design natin to have sharp edges. Pag hindi kasi magkakaroon to ng parang shadow sa edge na to, this is what we call a soft edge. So dito naman makita natin kung how to actually do that on Photoshop. So there are also printing limitations when it comes to the colors, such as neon colors, fluorescent hues, etc. For designs that have text, you have to make sure to convert yung text fonts into curves or outlines para sure lang that the design will be printed properly. Another thing to consider is yung minimum line thickness. So the minimum line thickness is 0.02 inches or 0.5 millimeters or 1.4 points. No? So one good way to check kung pasok nga sa minimum line thickness yung design nyo is pwede kayo on Photoshop, gawa kayo ng small circle with a 0.02 inch diameter and then i-compare nyo yung design kung mas malaki or mas maliit ba doon para ma-check. Next is you have to make your artwork design the same size as your design. So for example, if ganito kalaki yung design mo, kailangan ganyan din kalaki yung artboard mo. So yeah, basically you have to remove unnecessary negative spaces. This is optional. This is not required naman. But if you want to achieve a softer hand feel with your prints, you may do half toning, or you can also do what's called show through. So if you want more details on this, you can read up on it on our website sa getting started natin. page. Also is do not use transparencies on your design. If may parang shadow or parang some designs are somewhat transparent, hindi kasi magpiprint to ng maayos using our printing technique. All right. So the total area of all designs on the front and the back must be less than A3 size. So for example, may design ka sa left chest, right chest, and then sa bottom part of the t-shirt, lahat to masasama sa isang size, sa isang artboard siya. Kasi, so the reason for this is, pag iisa-isahin siya, iba-ibahin, hindi magiging consistent yung pag-place ng designs on the garment. So, ayan. So, these are the best practices for our designs. Next naman is the best practices for our mock-ups or yung picture kung ano yung itsura na design once it's on the garment. No? So, the mock-up pictures uploaded must have all print positions in a single image. So, this is to ensure na pag tinignan ng team natin yung mock-up nyo, maintindihan na nila agad which designs should be placed where at what part of the garment. No? So, here's an example of what that looks like. All right. So, ayun. So, these are some quick best practices lang on your image and your mockup. So, once you have that, you can upload those files here, dito for the design, and then this one for the mockup. Alternatively, which is actually something na sinasuggest namin because it's a little bit easier and a little bit safer, na sure yung design ma-upload na maayos, is you can also upload it into a Google Drive folder. So essentially, you can create a new folder. Sabihin natin, mod sample designs. You can create that folder, upload your design files and your mock-up image onto this folder. You just have to make sure na yung sharing settings nito is anyone with the link. So this is very, very important. Make sure that the link is my editor access to anyone with the link. So yan, make sure this is set properly. So one way to check if nagawa nga to ng maayos is you can copy this link. You can go to a incognito window and then paste that. And once you paste it, dapat ma-access mo rin yung files from here, from your incognito windows. That's one quick way lang to check kung tama nga yung pag-set up ng folder. Alright. So another thing lang to note is yung ano natin, replacement and refund policy. So replacement and refund policy. Eligibility for refunds and replacement. So we do give out free replacements, no? If na-receive niyo yung product tapos may damage sa print or may missing item, so we give out a free replacement. Pero there are certain limitations to this, no? So first, if any of the guidelines were not followed correctly, automatically we waive na to from our replacement and refund policy. Another thing is kung sabihin natin nag-order kayo ng 10 pieces, tapos 1 piece is missing or walang stock, hindi pwede i-cancel or refund for the entire order. No? So the reason for this is kasi nagawa na-produce na itong mga items ito. Another thing is our refund and replacement policy has a limit of 7 days upon receiving the item. So if it's past 7 days na tapos hindi pa kayo nag-send out ng replacement form, hindi na siya maging eligible for a replacement. Yes. So another thing is refunds and replacements are not if yung order is changed, for example, nagkamali ng design na in-upload tapos may kailangan i-change, ang best practice natin dito is i-cancel yung order and then gawa na lang tayo ng bagong order rather than changing yung original order natin kasi nagkakaroon to ng confusion. No? You must also be aware that there are slight variations in garment size, so plus minus 1 inch. So normal to in the clothing industry, meron talagang ganitong variance. Also, yung colors may appear a little bit different from, may appear a little different from the screen and yung actual. And there are certain, para issues that are not part of our, that won't make the order eligible for a replacement or refund, such as mga minor imperfections, mga loose threads, or super small stains that can easily be removed. So, ayun lang naman. All of these guidelines are on our website. So you can also refer to them just to make sure na tama yung natin, pag-upload ng design. So, yun lang naman. Thank you. Hope hope to work with you soon.